Can you transfer herpes from your mouth to another part of your body? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. That is very good. They were like, yes, yes. So during oral sex with an infected individual, you all are absolutely right. The herpetic virus can be transferred from a person's mouth to the other person's genitalia, or from that person's genitalia to the person's mouth. And wearing a condom is protective, but remember that herpetic lesions can occur in places not covered by a condom, and so you don't just obliterate your risk of getting herpes when you use a condom. Also, if someone has no symptoms at all at that time, meaning you don't see any herpetic lesions, you can still get herpes from that person. And a lot of people don't even know they have herpes, and those people can still give you herpes. Also, just remember that if you have a herpetic lesion and you touch it, or you touch fluid from the lesion, and then you touch another part of your body like the eye, then you can transmit it to another body part that way. There's something called herpetic whitlow, and that's when you have herpes of the fingers or the thumb, and a lot of times the herpes virus will get in through a cut. And it can also impact babies, because if someone has a cold sore, which is herpes, right, and they kiss a baby, so they transmit herpes to the baby, and the baby then puts fingers in the mouth, then they can transmit it that way. So, you know, you just want to make sure you have good hygiene. If you're exercising, make sure you're taking showers, and then there are antivirals we can give you. And just overall, try to keep yourself safe and try not to transmit it. And of course, if you have herpes, because a lot of people do, there are things we can do to help you keep it under wraps, but overall, just try to stay safe.
And interesting, when we're saying herpes here, we're talking about HSV 1 and 2.
Yes.
And it can be really difficult to tell between, well, is that a herpes outbreak on my finger, or is it an infection? A lot of times you'll see people and they'll have herpetic whitlow on their finger, and they'll go in and they'll try to pop it. Well, then when you're doing that, you're actually the HSV, you're seeing it there, right? It looks very much like a pimple, right? You go in and pop that, then all of a sudden that HSV virus is all over. So you just got to be very careful. If you're someone who has HSV1, for example, and you commonly get lip sores, be careful with the hands, and if you do start to notice an outbreak like that, understand that could be herpetic whitlow, and don't just start going in there and trying to jab it like it's a pimple.
So herpes is a little bit like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes,
unfortunately.
sadly it's true.
Yeah, so good hygiene is so important, right? I mean, even using a clean towel every time after you work out.
And antivirals will help the course of an outbreak, but you're always a carrier.
You're always a carrier.
But really the big concern with herpes is with babies.
Yes.
You know, in adults, it's kind of a, I hate to say a nuisance, but it can be painful. But you know, babies, when things can get life-threatening, those are the ones we really want to protect.
Yeah, if you've ever had genital herpes, that's a great point, Travis. When you get pregnant, make sure you tell your provider, because when you're 36 weeks, whether you're having an outbreak or it's been a while since you've had an outbreak, we will put you on suppressive therapy to make sure that it's not transmitted to the baby. And if you're having an outbreak or signs of an impending outbreak when it's time to deliver, then we'll do a C-section, because there are risks for the baby.
So important. Not the time to be embarrassed.
No.